Well, first and foremost, we have to understand that the drug menace is a worldwide problem, meaning it is a multilateral problem, meaning the threats are coming from various nationalities. It is also a changing landscape that we have to deal with. And if we are relegated to our own internal sources, especially for intelligence, then we are at a disadvantage because our opponents are attacking us from multiple angles. Hence the need for increased cooperation, especially in terms of intelligence sharing. We are both countries that are transit areas. The vulnerabilities of open democracies such as ours in terms of this menace also will redound to similarities in terms of the problems and also the potential to not replicate each other's mistakes in handling the problem. We can learn from each other's best practices. So towards that end, we are conscious that the problem cannot be faced unilaterally, but must be faced multilaterally. Then we have the potentials for having a more significant impact on this growing menace worldwide. Now, we favor the death penalty? We have already decided that we have foregone the death penalty. Perhaps we can ensure that the penalties that are already still in the laws of our land, specifically life imprisonment, really translates into life imprisonment and not just fractions of the same to serve as a deterrent. Thank you.
You know, despite drugs being a common problem for a number of countries, there's always temptation for governments to view this as some kind of domestic problems. And obviously there are policies at the domestic level to deal with the issue of drugs. You mentioned the increase in penalties. We are considering that, certainly. But also we need to tackle this in a comprehensive manner, and therefore measures to manage the demand side, harm reduction policy, and other options are now being explored. But again, what we reminded each other was that this is also a transnational problem, and much can be benefited from closer cooperation in a number of areas. I would agree with the President that one of the key areas would be intelligence and information sharing, as well as sharing of best practices. And you have to also remember that the movement of drugs and drug crimes are often related to other crimes and other movements, which is why an agreement on preventing and tackling transnational crimes is also an area that we will continue to work on together.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. I'm Raymond Tinasa of Bombo Radio Philippines. Sir, just going to the specifics. Sir, what specific measures did you discuss on how we could help each other in terms of be properly responding, preparing, and even recovering from disasters and calamities? Are we thinking of something like joint military or rescue team or weather bureau exercises in the future?
We discussed this today, and I should say that this has been a topic of discussion at ASEAN meetings and also other multilateral fora. What is clear is that we can offer our facilities to complement each other's effort, and also to begin to share best practices concerning issues from warning systems to other areas. So we will continue to work closely on this and make good use of a number of multilateral agencies and multilateral fora that deal with this issue.
Thank you. In addition to that, the details will have to be worked out by respective ministers. But just to give you a better idea of the problem, for instance, it's a tsunami. The tsunami that affected Japan was in our shores within 4 hours. Precisely, we have also the condition where our territory extends to about 200 kilometers in the exclusive economic zone. So if our warning systems start only at the boundaries, or our own boundaries, then the reaction time gets cut down significantly. Hence, there will be greater cooperation to set up warning systems that can be perhaps fielded on an ASEAN-wide basis that hopefully will give us even longer lead time in addressing situations, disasters like a tsunami, or even plotting of the typhoons on a more accurate basis can also be assisted by the multilateral cooperation.
Yes. Hi, I'm from the local, I'm with Xinhua News Agency here based in Bangkok. I have two exciting questions for President Aquino. Number one is that why are you here on an official visit when we've dissolved the House already?
Okay, well, we had agreed upon this date at the time that it was not yet dissolved. And the preparations had already been had already undergone. Perhaps we are hoping that there will be the conclusion of several dialogues that once the elections are over can be actually translated instead of starting and translated into action instead of starting the discussions after the new government is formed.
So you're saying that it has no effect at all with the official visit now, or if Mr. Abhisit is not the Prime Minister in the future, there's no effect. You still foster relationship and also to increase bilateral ties and all that will continue? Are you sure?
Well, we're hoping that the interests that are mutual to both countries will still exist after the elections, and hence the most probable solutions to the same will still be the same.
Another exciting question is concerns the Prawihan Temple, the Prawihan Temple, and we also know that Philippines is interested as an observer. As an observer, what can you benefit for our country, for Thailand? You know, as an observer, since we've already have headaches with Indonesia.
We just offered the facilities available in our country if this can be of help to resolving this conflict. If it is necessary to sit as a mediator, we are also willing. If it is just merely to ensure that the lines of communication are still intact, anything and everything that they, either side or both sides, think that the Philippines can do, the only message is we are willing, ready, and able to do that which will help foster better relations amongst our ASEAN brethren.
And what was our Thai Prime Minister's response?
Well, he was open to the idea in the Indonesian...
As an observer from...
No, we didn't discuss observer primarily. I approached the Cambodian Prime Minister also, and I did offer the same, and I asked him any requests that he would have for the Philippine government, and I assured him that we were, again, ready, willing, and able to accomplish the same. Now, if your question is, can the Philippines address a problem that has been there for, I understand now, about 2 centuries, then I guess we don't claim expertise in the same. What we're just saying is that it is our interest to promote peace, and we will do whatever is requested of us, respecting each of these countries' sovereignties, to try and address the situation.
I was wondering whether Prime Minister Abhisit will be able to give us any feedback concerning what President Aquino just said. Are we interested? Is Thailand interested in, welcoming Philippines as an observer in the Prawihan issue?
I shall try to make my answers as exciting as your questions.
Thank you.
I'll deal with the Prawihan issue first. To say, first of all, that we are all part of the ASEAN family. I think that's very important. And being co-founders of ASEAN, we know that the number one objective when this organization was formed was actually peace. And therefore, as part of the same family, whenever there are troubles, I think it is only natural for a good member of the family to express concern and to offer assistance when it is needed. The President mentioned this during the ASEAN meeting in Jakarta, after obviously when Prime Minister Hun Sen raised this issue at the meeting. There were no specifics about whether there would be observers or anything, only to say that the Philippines would like to offer assistance if both sides feel that she can contribute. And we are touched by that. We think it is important for ASEAN family members to express care for each other and therefore to offer help to each other. At the moment, we hope that the talks that are currently going on in Paris between Thailand and Cambodia, particularly on the World Heritage issue, will also allow us to make further progress. Because at the moment, I think this morning my defense minister confirmed that we should be holding the GBC meeting between the two countries. For the first question, I should just say this, that the relations between the two countries will last a lot longer than both our terms. And I think that no time is going to be wasted. The fact that I mentioned that there will be a convening of the Joint Trade Committee or the Joint Commission on Bilateral Cooperation means that we can enhance and strengthen these cooperations, whatever the political developments here in Thailand. Mr. President kindly told me that after the campaign he would like to invite me for a vacation in the Philippines. And I replied that I hope it won't be a long vacation.
Excellent answer from our Thai
Thank you.
Prime Minister.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Your Excellencies.